Okay, James, you want to move us ahead?
Sure, sure. Welcome to our second open house. Um, uh, we all know one another in the room. There was a bit of confusion between the starting time, also because of daylight saving time in America. So it's possible. What we're planning on doing today is we're going to start it now and continue after noon, just in case there are people who misunderstood and are planning to join us at noon. So this may be an open house today in two parts. I don't think we need to do introductions because I think we all know one another. Um, uh, Louis, do you know Ariane Sani? So Ariane works
Yeah.
closely with Michael Pearson through the Humanistic Leadership Academy and through EMA. And you, Louis, you're now in Monterey. That's your new home, correct?
Yes, 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 Tecnológico Monterrey. Yes, I'm here. Yes,
Technically. And you've been there now for a couple of years or a few years?
yes, a year and a half around that.
Good, good, great.
Yesterday we were on a call with David Capistranois. Do you know him?
No, no, I
David?
don't.
Okay, no.
No, no, you know,
Um,
it's really a big institution. So, and we are not really that well connected inside. You know, I'm still looking the sustainability people inside the school. I'm trying to connect with them.
well, and it's over different campuses, so it's not
Yes,
like
yes.
you bump into one another over coffee.
No, no,
It's
no.
it's spread out across Mexico, right?
Yes, it's really a large institution. I mean, like 1,000 students, and I'm in Guadalajara still, in the campus at Guadalajara. So Monterrey and Mexico City and all other places are different physically, quite far from each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
So
It
yes,
seems like it's also an opportunity, though, that if there isn't a centralized place for sustainability at Tecnológico, there's the opportunity to build that.
I think it is. There must be because everything is like centralized
Mm,
here.
mm,
But sometimes they centralize it, but they don't send the call to all over the place. You know, it's
right.
like some processes are quite difficult for the distance and the not contact and not identification with each other,
Mm,
and that's make a little bit difficult this connection.
great. All right. So what we're trying to do today is really to continue from our conversation from last month. Um, Sandra, hello, welcome. Some of you, Sandra included, had expressed an interest in possible mentorship opportunities. That was one of, I think, the strongest pieces that came out. Lou, you had talked about some pieces that you wanted to work on and report on today, so we'll be interested to hear about them. Professor Stoner, do you have any other things that you want to bring to the table to kick us off?
Well, we're moving towards having a location where we can tabulate and report people who have fit in four categories. One is people willing to change their own courses or possibly interested in doing so. People willing to help people who are doing that. We can call them mentors, coaches, or whatever. The third one would be people who are actually right now involved in changing their courses and join us, even though they did the initiative on their own, started on their own. And the fourth category would be people who have already changed a course and are willing to share the journey that they were on and the results of what they did. Um, a process, and then finally maybe the syllabus and the course. We have a number of people that fit definitely in the last category, and a few that seem to be coming in the second category. And we're looking for folks in the first and the third categories. And right now, what we're going to do is we're going to put them on the GMI, Global Movement Initiative website, which we're moving along with pretty nicely at the moment. So those, by the way, we have a bunch of conferences upcoming, and the one that I'm particularly present to right now, where we'll sharing kinds of things that are happening in these workshops, is at the in Los Angeles at the Loyola Marymount University Business School. And there, I'm just saying a few moments ago that I'm particularly interested in moving forward on a fourth application to the MacArthur Foundation, $100 million competition, whether or not they have one in 27, 28. But that application will be posted on a number of places, including the GMI website, Global Movement Initiative website. And we'll have a laundry list of projects of varying costs that people can can act upon right now, or wait until we get $100 million, which we're not going to get, but it'll be out there, publicize them. So that's one of many things to report.
So one of the things that you spoke of, Professor Stoner, that I want to jump back up on, Linda worked with Sandra to get some of her course materials and syllabi up on our website. And Linda, I'm going to ask you to speak about that in a minute or two. But what I wanted to say about that is one of the pieces of us going to the International Association of Jesuit Business Schools is the idea, and we worked with Dale Smith on this, that they have a repository of course materials as well. And that repository is not as active as it could be. Ours is also nascent. We're building it right now. We hope that it will be more active. And the goal is to take what IAJBS has done, what we've done, what possibly Prime has done, and merge them all into a single place where an educator can go to and say, I need help on X, and find it easily and quickly. To that end, Linda has done a lot of the work in making ours accessible, especially through the Creative Commons license. Linda, talk about that for a second.
Good morning. It really is quite simple, depending on, I suppose, your materials. And maybe Sandra can speak to it if she's in a place where she can speak. I know she emailed me that she was in and out with different meetings today, but if you have materials to share, part of using the Creative Commons was that it's a copyright that protects your material from being used for profit by someone else. But essentially, it allows other people to use it, modify it, create it, and use it as a basis for innovative new courses that they wish to share. So we currently have 6 different courses on the Global Movement website: supply chain management, marketing, strategy, and so on, leadership, and so on and so forth. So Sandra and Robert Sroof, after our last conversation, generously shared their materials. And again, it's there for anyone to use. Morning, Robert. Just talking about you.
Robert, you can show up and brought your name.
Yeah. So their materials are there. I think getting that Creative Commons copyright is a simple matter of filling out a form on the website that the authors do, because it's your permission that you're granting. But I think you'll agree it's quite simple. We tend to request that people put it on their materials so that if people do download your materials from our website, they realize that there are some restrictions to its use. And beyond that, it really is more a matter of letting other people know that your stuff is there for other people to use if they so choose to do it. And I think that's the thing right now. We both, as James said, we both want to build the resource library that we have, but we also need to let people know that it's there and is intended for their use.
And to that end, Sandra or Robert or both, why did you choose to share a course on a website and make it freely available?
I don't believe in restricting ideas. And I've used Creative Commons licenses for songs for years, and I believe in open access publications, even though management doesn't really support them, and my dean isn't very pleased with the idea. So, and I don't think there's anything secret about anything I do.
Robert?
I would second. Yeah, I would second that. Some countries even ask for things to be published in open access to make sure there's more availability of it. And I want it to spread. I want it to proliferate. I want it to be used. So I didn't realize, that resource was kind of available in terms of that sharing in the platform. So I was happy to be able to contribute.
And one of the things that we were
Also,
talking,
it really
Yeah.
helps. Creative Commons really helps people in the global south who may not have the resources. So, if particularly around in open access publication of articles in particular, because many of the journal. I was just on another call on about the Academy of Management Perspectives, and many of the articles we publish are behind expensive paywalls, and people aren't going to pay a lot of money for reading one article. It's stupid. And so if you want people in the global south to be able to read anything you've written or anything you've done or use your materials, they have to be in some sort of format that people can use them. The book that I published called Teaching Managing Mindfully is on the Ignite site, which I think is the Jesuit one. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
And we priced it at $10 because it's a book. It's got all kinds of exercises in it and some theory, and also Larry Ladd's poems, which I think are really kind of cool. Figure anybody could probably afford, who's a professor, could probably afford $10. We had to give it some sort of price. I don't think it's ever sold anything because their website is completely inactive, and I'm not even sure anyone can find it if they were interested in it.
That's interesting, Sandra. For me, I published I priced my first book of poetry on around $10 or so, for exactly the same reason, to make it completely available to anybody.
Yeah.
How can we better share this with others and get them access to this? Do they have to sign up as a member to get within the site, or is there some other way we can just
that is currently our format, is just to keep it behind membership so that it doesn't get spammed, so we can control a little bit the access of it. But I would put that back on both of you, and Linda. I saw you. Is there more we should be putting there, making it more accessible and more visible outside of the small networks that we have is our goal, and that's something that we plan on working on extensively this summer. But should we also have books or other publications on the website as well, or does that confuse the matter?
What do you see as the purpose here? What do you want to, Jim wants to accomplish a tipping point. You're not going to get a tipping point if you put everything behind a paywall or a membership wall. You have to, and you need people who understand social media and can get things out in social media. I'm going to see if I can get something to show you in a minute. It'll take me a minute to do it.
Okay. I can quickly, the more resources, the better, I would think.
Yeah. Our work, Linda, I'm sorry, jump in.
Oh, no worries. I was going to circle back to what you said earlier, James, which is, and just share this experience to see if it resonates. When I was transforming the marketing courses and the entrepreneurship classes and the other courses that I did at Regis, what I found frustrating was, as Sandra mentioned, all the paywalls that you have to go through to get to certain resources to have your library of materials, and to be able, even with Google, to be able to search out the right nuggets of material that I wanted to include in my classes. You know, it really, I found it was much like writing a textbook, which, as many of us know, is a tedious, long process. And yet, this writing a new textbook was a matter of something that I did with my colleagues in a matter of months. And so the biggest challenge in doing that was really being able to find the right stuff to put into the course material. So that goes back to what James was talking about in having a central repository that isn't filled with junk, but that is usable, and to Sandra's point, perhaps, is available in the common area for multiple people to use, that specifically relates to transforming business education, and that doesn't give us a download of textbooks that were published in the 1950s but are still being taught today.
Professor
A quick
Stoner?
Could we put on our website some sort of quick announcement that it's free?
Sure. I mean, it currently says that the materials are there and they are available for inspiration, innovation, or imitation. And so it says on the website for business faculty, here's some material to use. So I think it's obvious that it's free, but we can put the word free up there as well.
Well, my question was provoked by James's explanation as to why we have a step to get into our website effectively to avoid scam, stuff like that. Why don't we draft a quick draft message like that and see if it works for us? Could we do that?
Sure.
But first you have to drive people to your website. That's,
Sandra, I've made everybody can share on the website, so you should be able to share what you've got in front of you right now.
okay, so here's an example of what I've been playing around with lately.
Louis, I see you.
Oh, sorry, Louis, go ahead.
No. Share what you've got.
So I just put a infographic that I had Notebook LM produce for me, and it's based on the paper that Linda published in her book. And I've done this for a number of articles. It's kind of amazing what happens in 5 minutes. You know, you can see how this particular program summarized that particular paper. And I could, if I did it again, it would be different. Different points would be made. But the thing about it is, it's taking, and I thought about doing it with my syllabus as well. And because it takes complicated information and it just makes it simple and makes it graphic and makes it accessible to people. So in this webinar that I was just on, which was about Academy Management Perspectives, Juana Brenza was talking, and they're talking about translation of stuff. This is a way to translate materials very quickly. And, you know, I mean, it's costly ecologically, I'm sure, because it's AI, but it's a way of getting ideas out there in a very different format. And I can't figure out how to get the link to the paper into the infographic, but I put it if I put it on LinkedIn or something, I put it in the comment that I'm making. So it's just a thought.
Louis?
Oh, yes. I'd like to come back a little bit about the thing that you were talking about, that just make the materials available to everyone. And I believe that's a great idea, and that's the first step. and make them free, as much free as can be possible for everyone to use. But I believe that there is another step. I mean, that could be like the supply. I mean, here's the material. There's very great material around, and some of it is free in the Ignited website or in other places. However, it's different that the material is available and it is used for in the classes, in classrooms for students and that. So for that, I would like to refer to the experience that I had at ITESO, my previous institution. The point is that, do you remember this little course in finance that we did with the first?
I remember it very well. I mean, you have a personal experience on this. You created during COVID an entire
Yes.
fundamentals of finance course with Frank Werner and some other people,
Frank
and even made it available on YouTube.
Yes, but what I want to report to you is that it's still in use.
Yeah.
It's still in use at ITESO. And we've been in, for instance, in YouTube, we have around more than 5,000 visualizations. So that's, I mean, it's not like a influencer level or anything, but for a finance course, it's not that bad, okay? But the point is that besides putting this available for the use of others, it needs to have like a practical connection
Louis,
with some.
the word specializations. Could you say a few words about that? I lost me on it.
Oh, sorry, I seem.
Louis, we're getting a little bit, your internet's a little fussy.
Yep, it just got real fuzzy.
Yeah. While he's coming back, what?
Sorry, guys.
Yep, you're back.
It was
Welcome back.
It's really bad. I'm sorry. What I was talking is that we are over 5,000 visualizations in YouTube, and that only half of them are from Mexico. It is starting to kick up in another parts of the world. But the thing is that besides the availability of the material, I believe that we need to connect it to some teacher or teachers that are inspired, that are aware of and want to make a change. So I believe there's two steps. First, the materials. That's a great step, first step. But second, to ensure that material is applied and is used in some ways, inviting teachers, inviting another people that is interested. And I said in ITESO is still working, and still they are using it today. Actually, this semester is being used in there.
That's great.
So I would say that fortunately this course, and I left ITESO a year and a half ago, but fortunately this transcends the people that was there. I mean, I'm not there anymore, but it's still in practice. So that I believe that we need to inspire or communicate this to other people. That's the thing I wanted to say. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for clarifying the word I was stuck on. Now I know what you mean.
Linda?
Well, adding to what Luis just said, I think Father Garanzini would second what you just said, Luis, because his chapter in our book talks about the inspirational paradigm, which is the focus of the coming conference. And in his chapter, he says much the same thing, that years ago, a decade ago, whatever the time frame was, people came together, they developed the inspirational paradigm as a baseline for changing courses and teaching. And then, how much is it getting used? And I think part of this circle part of this conference theme is sort of a circling back around to say, okay, we wrote this, it's there, it's available. Are you using it? And I think because your material, Luis, and the inspirational paradigm, which you also used, is I think that goes back to what our frustration is for many, in that great work has been done by all of you. And a lot of it sits on the shelf because people don't know the work is there. They don't know that it's there, that it's available, and that it's usable. So back to James' question is, okay, we've said many times, and we're not sitting here saying we have the resources to conduct a publicity or a public relations campaign, but we're kind of talking about how do we reach our colleagues, right? How do we help them understand that you don't have to reinvent the wheel? It has been invented for decades. Now, let's help you find those resources. Let's get them in your hands. And I guess my question to the group is this a one-on-one, colleague to colleague experience? Is this a departmental experience? Sure, we've got this stuff on the website, and sure, we can send emails to people, but we all get blasted with emails, and it's really hard to understand, even if we get a message from someone we know and trust. Gosh, I better go check that out right now because it might help me tomorrow. So both the urgency and the availability, I think what we're struggling with here is how do we make that accessibility relevant and known to our colleagues, and especially the younger people who may not know us, but they're coming up and they're thinking, my gosh, I've got to reinvent the wheel. And they just don't know that the stuff is there, and that resources like our mentors, segue, are available for them.
Before we segue, I want to take what you've said and put it in social media speak, which is, how do we find warm bodies? That's Jim Stoner's words. How do we find warm bodies? We're going to go to the conferences. That's definitely something that we're pursuing this summer. Social media is another avenue that we are getting close to diving into on. What else should we be doing?
So get it into doctoral consortia, junior faculty workshops. You know, be panelists on some of those things and mention things like this. Resource availability.
Well, yeah, let me take that last one you said, Sandra. That really rang to me. It's too late for AOM submissions on doctoral workshops, but we could start talking up right now and submit next year a proposal for a doctoral workshop of people who are aligning their courses the way we'd like them to align their courses. And I think we could in a few weeks or so, we could figure out how to put together a really exciting doctoral consortium on that. I'd love to be involved in that.
I would suggest picking up on networks that already exist. And it doesn't have to be at AOM, it could be webinars like this one. The Impact Scholars Group, young scholars interested in having impactful careers. These are two groups I'm affiliated with. Domenico D'Antoni's group on systems thinkers. You know, everywhere I go, maybe it's because of the crowds I hang out with, people are really interested in this stuff. Robert, you must have some of the same networks.
Yeah, I think I said something similar to this last time, though, to maybe think about some kind of design competition or something where people can submit to, and it, you know, for junior faculty, especially if you want to target them, and it gets them another line item on their CV, you know, if they were to win or if they're to be a, you know, a finalist or something like that. So I would think something that they could submit to could help them with P&T, can help them develop their courses, and at the same time give it a global platform. So if I think of some things like the Page Prize, right? University of South Carolina. They make all of their, award winners syllabi and whatever they did with their courses available on their website, and it's searchable and downloadable. But at the same time, those people that get chosen for those things, it's something for their CV, right? It's something to reward those junior faculty that are taking the risk to do these things.
Linda?
Robert, could I ask quickly on that? Is that something that if a junior faculty person, because I'm thinking, gosh, we could have the competition and then we could post the courses on the GMI website, right? But is that something that a junior faculty person would have difficulty with their administration? Or could they do it outside their work?
I would say everyone's teaching.
Yeah, I would say they could do it outside of their work. But maybe maybe there's an opportunity to even have some kind of submission process to figure or let people submit case studies about how difficult it's been to actually do this.
Yeah.
And reward those that maybe didn't even get to accomplish it because of those difficulties somehow. There's lots of storytelling that can be done about, I think it's the Sisyphus competition, right? Who pushed the biggest rock up the longest hill for the worst amount of time, and then somehow reward them for sticking with it.
And also how easy it is to do in some cases. Because for some courses, there'll be very little that needs to be done to align it fully with the need for a sustainable world. In fact, some courses don't even assume that the purpose of the firm is to maximize shareholder wealth, or if it assumes that, it doesn't impact the course that much. So I think getting information out there about people who are trying it. Two things. If we move as we move towards on the GMI website as part of this initiative, folks who might be willing to do a course, a list of them and their email addresses, and those who will be mentors, etc. Sandra and Robert, we'll come back to you and ask you to indicate what kind of courses would you be happy to help somebody, one person presumably, because you don't have all the time in the world, change, align. Are there particular courses that you would put in that category, or would you be willing to work on anything? And how should we handle that question?
I'd be willing to work on anything. I'm even doing a paper now based on 10 years worth of MBA student submissions for an assignment that shows how sustainability is already integrated into every business function as a external driver, internal enabler, and performance metrics. So I would offer myself up to say I'd like to be able to help anyone and not, pigeonhole myself into just any one thing.
I'd probably be interested in leadership, OB, strategy, business and society courses.
Right.
I can't do operations and finances.
We're,
But Robert's book does deal with those things. So.
But the part of the integrated management book does that. Yeah, but I'm an operations, supply chain, purchasing, I don't know, kind of person in general. So that's where my roots are.
throughout all this, we're just figuring out what to do by doing it,
Mhm.
and then improving it and adjusting it. So thank you.
Louis,
Let me say
does-
something about the
does this-
Garrison Institute. What was noticeable about the Garrison Institute was that there are only two people that should have been there that weren't, and that was Sandra and Robert.
Mhm.
And just about everybody else was there.
I was invited, Jim. I had a conflict, and then it turned out I got sick anyway. So.
Thank you. I knew that a little bit. But what was interesting, what might be interesting, was we took a step following it to try and deal with the now what question that comes up at the end of conferences, and which we will deal with at the end of this open house, which is just to capture some actions that came out, desired or actual actions that came out of it. But there were about 36 people there, and there were lots of people just like us who weren't there, and lots of people who were there, and only a few that weren't, that should have been there. It should, in the sense of they're natural people, given what we were doing, like Sandra and Robert. So we're experimenting with how to have things happen at the end of conferences when we all come out with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of great ideas, and we go back to the real world and find out we don't have time to do very much, or we forgot what was so much fun. So we will share that with all the people here and beyond how we're taking that step. That's all at the moment.
I'd also like to remind that GMI is a very small group, and our network is not that extensive. To that end, what we've done is we've begun working with other networks in order to broaden our reach. Be the Tipping Point is the most obvious of those. That's working with GRLI, IAJBS, and Oikos to tap into those networks. One thing that's currently happening is from an institutional level, the GRLI group is doing impact innovation circles where institutions are coming together and developing best practices and sharing ideas and creating research and mentorship opportunities. So that's happening on an institutional level, and that should be able to allow us to broaden. The goal of us having a small repository of courses on our website is not for us to take ownership of them, but it's for us to disseminate them as broadly and widely as we can. Linda.
I guess with our conversation about moving into action or using these materials, I'd like to go back to Luis and say, how does the idea of a competition or other resource materials, how does this strike you? How might that work with your colleagues?
I just explored this idea at Tecnológico Monterrey, and it's a lot of red tape. I'm still on that idea, working on it, because as I'd say, it's a big institution. Every initiative should be like national initiative. I don't have still I can pull all the strings inside for this to happen very soon. However, coming back to what you say, the thing that work at ITESO is that I don't like to sound like a cult, but we went for the academic leaders. When you have an academic leader that is convinced in the materials and is using the sustainability, this academic leader can impact the faculty. Because if you're the academic leader of, for instance, in the case of the economics department, it was like, hey, man, that it was me. I told our teachers, hey, this is the material, please use it. I didn't make them, but I asked them politely to all our teachers, and around half of them took the material. So it is like a work in convincing these key figures inside the universities, having them working with the materials, working with sustainability. I think that is the key for this to grow. So maybe, I mean, in our network, everyone has someone in there that is like people that can be invited to the adoption of the materials, to promotion or to promote the materials inside the universities. I think that's another way to go.
All right. What we're planning on doing, we've done the first two open houses really inward looking, mostly for the authors, with the goal of the first ones really to be, you'll excuse the term, coaching sessions, but to get as much good ideas and valuable information as we can. We are now going to open these open houses in the coming months out to a lot of people that we meet through conferences, through people we have met through previous conferences, in the hope that we can find some warm bodies this way. But that's just so you know what our thinking is going forward. Professor Stoner, you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, just to listen to myself speak for a moment on two things. One is, what is our purpose? And the other one is how we're going to get there. And what are we assuming we get there? Our purpose and what we're doing is to transform business practice by transforming business education. The vehicle is changing business education. We're counting on part of what we're doing is that individuals will change their own courses and relate to each other. We're starting to call that the process of swarming, getting a whole bunch of individuals changing their courses. The other part that James mentioned was the GRLI-based institutional level change, which, by the way, is the way the first application to the MacArthur Foundation in 26 was designed to a large extent. The initiative was to change at the university level, but also at the individual level. By the way, the third piece is publications and books and stuff like the two books that GMI has done on pioneers in transforming business education. The second thing along here that I'm struggling with is we're assuming that we can get a lot of individual faculty members changing their courses rapidly without being bribed to do so, but maybe inspired by a competition or something like that, like Linda mentioned. And what we need is proof of concept pretty soon. We need some examples besides Robert and Linda and Jim and Sandra who have actually done this, and Frank Werner and a few people who have actually done it. My dream is, from the very beginning, is that an individual can change his or her course. By the way, we're not talking about a finance professor teaching sustainability. We're talking about a finance professor teaching finance in a context that's present to the realities of unsustainability and not doing the work of the devil any longer by teaching maximizing shareholder wealth. But stop doing that. But then figuring out what in the world does it mean to teach finance if you're not teaching maximizing shareholder wealth? That's what we're counting on that can be happening. And we're very much counting on, at least I'm hoping, that when they do that, they discover really exciting things that they want to inquire into, research topics, papers they want to write, etc. I think Sandra and I talked just slightly about what it would mean if we teach strategy in a way that is not beating our competitor people, but changing the companies, but teaching strategy about how to make a better world and how a company can actually contribute to the world rather than worry about beating its competition. It would be a whole different view of the world if we do something like that. So I'm excited about that. Back to you.
Great.
James.
So we're at 45 minutes. We're cognizant of your time. Run away if you have to run away. We are keeping this open because there was a little confusion, and so we're going to stay through 12 o'clock and see whether anybody else joins. Louis, I just did want to say one thing additionally to you. I think I'm seeing you in Los Angeles this summer. Is that true? Great. And if there is anything that we can do from our end, because GRLI is plugged into Monterey as well, to see whether there's any way to move something with a competition or something like that forward. Is it okay if we pursue those avenues as well and keep you in the loop?
It would be perfect. Actually, Ariane and you, Jim, I would love to help if you can help me from outside to get into this network, inside networks. I mean, it seems crazy, but I think it would be better. It would be faster for me to connect with these people from your side than from inside tech.
Okay. I just think it's a great opportunity for Monterey. It's such a good school. It's such a noted and powerful school. To have something like that seems really smart to me. So,
Luis, do you know that Frank will be at Loyola?
Oh, I didn't know, but I would love to say hello to him.
I'll ask him to get in touch with when I speak to him tomorrow afternoon, because I've seen his abstract for his session at LMU, and I'm sure it'll be accepted. And I'll ask him to send it to you.
Okay, thank you very much, James.
Okay,
all right.
most of it.
So
On an out-
I just want to say, I just, to Jim's point, I published a paper on eco-social strategic management not that long ago, and there's the infographic that came out of that one.
As we do what's the music at the end of the leaving music, I will post that infographic up so that everybody
Sandra,
can see
is
it.
there anything I can ever mention along the way that you haven't already published?
I'm not sure, Jim. I'm cleaning my office out at work, and it's a nightmare.
I don't know whether everybody can see that yet. It seems like my computer's now.
No.
There's it screen sharing, but that's all it says. It
No,
doesn't say what it's screen sharing.
looks like we've got it now. This is
Aha.
this is it. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Ariane. Thank you,
Ooh, what
Linda.
fun. I
Um,
like this.
and for those of you that can stay on, I think I'm going to pause the recording, and we'll just chat amongst ourselves.
Maybe Sandra can tell us where we can get this.
You can just download it from the chat. It's
Well,
I am going
Nope.
to share it as a follow-up email, if that's okay, Sandra. But it really is good.
Oh, I haven't seen this before. It's lovely.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you use it, refer to the paper too. And I can send a link to the paper.
I probably have the paper though.
Is the paper
It's it's an open access paper.
Oh,
is
good.
the paper beyond the firm the Eco-Social Shift?
The paper is no. I have to go remember what the name of the paper.
Sandra,
Who did
if you
it?
send me the paper, I will include it in the follow-up email. If that's
Yes,
helpful.
yes, exactly
will-
the kinds of things we want to do at the end of every conference, etc., is have some follow-on stuff. Sandra, who did this visual for you?
Notebook LM, AI did it.
It's an AI, so you can drop all your papers into
You can
it,
drop a paper in and
syllabus.
give it the right prompt, and it will come up with something like this.
That came out of an AI kind of thing?
Yeah, so did the other one. I said synthesize the key points of this paper or something like that. It was very
Love
simple.
it. That is really nice.
So I think this is the second or third one. I didn't like the others, and you have to be careful because it'll misspell stuff and
Right.
do weird stuff. But hey, this is a good use of AI.
It is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I were the professor, I'd give an A on it, even though AI didn't.
Linda?
All right, I gotta go.
I was just going to ask if this is the kind of thing, Robert, Sandra, everyone, should we put this kind of thing on the GMI website along with the course materials? In other words, should we have another tab that says here's some, or put it right with the course materials in a folder?
You could.
And then
why don't we-
source your paper.
Why don't we do a little thing on our website about this particular open house that's not long, but has something like this in it?
I mean,
Notebook?
well, no, it's the idea of translating our work, whether it's our teaching work or our research work, into accessible things that students and other people can understand. That's for me what this is about. And if you don't want to hold on to your ideas in such a tight way that, if you're afraid someone's going to use your ideas, what's the point?
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it also gets us away from all the black and white text and tables that is academic presentations at conferences.
Exactly.
It instead gets us into better storytelling.
Yep.
And Sandra, I'm going to add one more point. It really is for somebody who may not have English as a first language, Global South, something like that. It provides accessibility into a paper which I'm sure is a little more complicated of a read.
It's a long, difficult paper.
Yeah, so this is a good way in
Yeah.
to that.
And I think it's a big win for this particular open house.
All right, everyone, I gotta go.
Be well. Great to see you all.
Yeah.
We're
Have a great
staying
day.
on.
James and
Nice
I'll
to
stick
see you.
around, etc.
Great to see you, Robert. Bye, Louis. Great to see you. Thank you.
Bye. Good to see you.